On August 14, 2023, I volunteered for a weekend caretaker shift at Heceta Head Lighthouse on the Oregon coast because the regular ranger caught the flu and my marine biology internship needed extra field hours, so I jumped at the chance for solitude and wave sounds. But from the first step up the cliff path, the tower felt wrong, its white paint streaked like tears and the lantern gallery windows dark. Though the bulb should have been automated 24/7, yet regional power crews had warned of rolling outages. So I assumed a technical glitch and kept climbing, carrying a single duffel packed with notebooks, instant soup, and a portable radio. The only company besides gulls screaming above fog that rolled thick as milk. The keeper cottage below me vanished in it, and footsteps sounded like muffled drum beats on damp stone. When I reached the locked service door, I used the spare key from park headquarters. The iron knob felt warm despite sea air cold enough to prick skin. I entered ground level and smelled salt mixed with hot metal like a car engine overworked. Though no machinery sat there, only the spiral stair rising into darkness. I checked the generator closet, empty, dustless, as if never installed, batteries for backup gone too. Yet the maintenance log on desk said, inspected, healthy. Dated 3 days earlier. I radioed base static, answered Thought Cliff's blocked signal. Decided to climb and manually switch the bulb housing from automatic to manual bypass, so tourists offshore would not miss the beam at night. Each step echoed slow spiral tight wall bricks, sweating small droplets that slid downward opposite gravity, landing on my jacket, leaving streaks that glowed faint pink under flashlight. I rubbed one streak between fingers. It pulsed warm, then sank into skin, leaving a numb patch size of a dime. My pulse quickened, but I pushed higher. Level 2 housed oil drums retired decades ago, yet one drum now, uncapped, half full of thick liquid, same pink tint surface vibrating like a plucked string. I leaned close, smell sweet copper dizzying, and the lighthouse groaned deep note like whale song, vibrating stair rail so hard it stung teeth. I forced myself away, continued up near lantern deck. The walls narrowed until shoulders brushed both sides. Fresh scratches cut into brick like claw marks, 5 deep parallel. I counted them 14 clusters, matching distance between my own strides, like something climbed ahead of me, scraping after 48 turns. I reached service hatch to the lens room, but hatch already ajar. Amber glow leaked out, spinning rhythm, slow like heartbeats. Yet the main power still listed offline on coastal grid site. I pushed in, expecting dusty Fresnel lens instead, found glass spotless rotating without motor, floating 2 inches above corroded pedestal points of light swirling inside glass as though ocean stars trapped within each facet. The beam swept across my chest, lingering half-second heat sensation, flooded torso heartbeat synced to rotation and outside fog window. I glimpsed not cloud, but a vast eye, the size of the full lantern lambent gold iris, black pupil narrowing when beam hit it, as if lens and eye saw each other trading signals. Gooseflesh raced over arms. I staggered back, lost footing, nearly tumbled the spiral. But rail bent outward, forming cradle-stopping fall metal, warm, pliable, shaping like living spine. I screamed, yet voice came out low like gull croak and echoed back from walls in delayed syllables as if tower repeated me backwards. The eye outside vanished, leaving circular void in fog darker than night, yet swirling and drawing mist inward, as though inhaling tower air. Sudden vacuum yanked loose papers upward. Maintenance log flew through hatch, sucked into void pages fluttering like dying birds. Lens speed increased, humming pitch rising each pass. Striping room with sharp bands of violet light. I felt skin tighten along those bands. Hair rose, then snapped off, drifting away. Weightless lens stopped without warning. Beams frozen midair as solid ribbons I ran shoulder. First broke through one ribbon. Pain flared, ribs numb. Zone grew larger around earlier. Splash mark, I crashed downstairs, gravity heavier each step, bricks under boots softened, becoming sponge footprints, filled with pink glow rising like steam, halfway down, radio. Crackled finally, voice from base, faint said tower offline. Since Quake 1993, caretaker post dissolved. Please confirm identity, I pressed. transmit but mouth words wrong. Syllables reversed language, unfamiliar, static, drowned reply. Stairwell ahead, distorted, elongating, impossible distance. And at bottom floor doorway gone, replaced by new descent tunnel slick with moss. Pulsing same internal light. I realized tower rebuilt itself downward, not upward, and whatever eye outside hunted deeper, using beacon to map inside flesh-like structure. I turned, climbed back toward lens room exit route, but stairs upside down, feet slipped blood warm on palms when I caught rail that melted into fingers merging, so metal strands threaded under skin, pulling me upward without effort. Lantern deck now breathing each pane, expanding, contracting in slow tide lens, reactivated yet shown inward, bathing me in concentric rings, vision filled with coastline memories, flashing, then erasing, leaving blanks, until only one image remained me. Standing outside cottage at dusk, waving to myself inside, tower endless loop recording over living moment. The eye reappeared outside, pressed against glass. Bulging lens cracked softly fluid, similar to drum oil. Seeped joins running along grooves, following claw marks. I felt rails inside veins, vibrating, matching hum of long-forgotten generators. I knew the lighthouse did not guide ships anymore. It harvested witnesses, draining them into record, so beam could replay life back to sea void in offerings. I dropped flashlight darkness, revealed new path leading through lens, into pupil. Beyond my voice, repeated run, but tower reversed it, turning into Nur, inviting. I backed to hatch, through duffel, through gap, and sprinted downward stairs, reshaped flat chute, launching me out. Ground door now open onto cliff edge, daylight, gone replaced by night storms. Lightning revealed tower behind me. Taller, one extra tier, glowing internal rose light. I raced downhill. Fog parted, revealing empty parking. No car, just footprints leading into surf tide. Low, exposing rocky shelf shaped like lens facets. I waited until waves hit knees. Phone waterproof, but dead. I turned back, saw lighthouse beam sweep, ocean, every rotation etched horizon with afterimage of me, still in tower silhouette, frozen against window like a moth. Since that night, distant coastal cameras sometimes capture extra sweep between official lights. A faint rose beam that repeats one human outline inside. I see the figure raise an arm wave for help. I never answer because I fear if I acknowledge it, the tower will remember my face, and the next night its eye will drift inland, searching windows for the caretaker who got away. On November 9, 2022, I answered a call from the Coast Guard Auxiliary asking for volunteer radio checks at the abandoned Stony Point Lighthouse on the south shore of Lake Superior, because a winter storm had damaged shore repeaters and they needed someone on site to test a new emergency beacon. So I drove from Duluth before dawn, crossed frozen sand, and unlocked the squat brick tower that stood 40 feet tall against gray chop, its lantern removed decades ago, and replaced by a low-power transmitter dish, now silent. But inside the tower, I found the service room colder than the air outside. Frost layering every surface despite insulated stone, and the old spiral stair looked freshly scrubbed, metal shiny. Odd for a place closed. Since the 1990s, I climbed to the observation deck to raise the short whip antenna, counting steps as protocol. 31 in total. Yet that morning, I reached 35, and the extra steps felt rubbery under my boots, almost new. I screwed the antenna to its mount, and while tightening the nut, heard soft clinks of another wrench below. Back in the service room, the laptop screen showed a single line of text I had not typed. CQ, 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 non-dear repeat. Static crackled through the small external speaker. Then a faint reply tapped in Morse at maybe 6 words per minute, slow and shaky. SAVEDEEP. Seconds later, the laptop again printed the earlier line, followed by a timestamp reading 11:32 a.m., which was 8 minutes ahead of actual time. A sudden scrape overhead made me jump. The hatch I had closed now banged open, iron clanging. I climbed, counting aloud for nerve, 31 steps. But at 29, my foot met the deck. missing 2 rungs that seconds before existed, yet footprints arced around the deck, prints shaped like bare feet, skin pressed into frost, toes elongated, no shoe tread. They led to the rail and stopped at empty air. The laptop fan screamed, screen now white except one countdown. Zaku 22. I could not close the program. Then water trickled across the floor, seeping from stone seam near the wall, black water rich with silt. Trickle formed a narrow line that spelled out, save. I backed onto the stairs, but the metal felt soft. Vibrating like a cable under tension beneath the clank of my boots came a rhythmic thump, slow and distant, as though the tower itself pulsed. Radio on my vest squawked with Coast Guard traffic, but every voice played backward, syllables sliding, ending with a drowned gurgle. Yet staircase now extended farther, 40 steps, 45, spiraling deeper up through tower height never changed. In dim light, I saw faint letters carved on inner wall, old-style font. Keep me lit or die below under the carving. A rusted lantern sat, wick-trimmed, half-tank of whale oil that should not exist in modern sight. The lantern sparked alive, though untouched, flame bright blue, casting moving shadows that showed outlines of several people standing shoulder to shoulder. Each shadow lifted an arm, pointed at me, then pointed down through floor water, burst through staircase spindle, gushing, racing upward toward my boots. The carved letters glowed hot red. I smashed glass with radio, tied rope from backpack to rail, and repelled outer wall. Ice-biting palms halfway down, bricks shifted, bulging outward like trying to swallow rope. Lighthouse began strobing blue inside, beamless yet bright through mortar gaps. Yet a second blue flash lit beneath surface of water half-mile offshore, as if twin beacon answered in deep logs on coastal servers recorded an unscheduled automated transmission from my call sign at 11:33 a.m., repeating one phrase for 6 minutes. Keep it lit. Search divers checked caisson and reported a steel access hatch I never knew existed, pried open from inside each November 9th. I watched Superior's live cam at 11:32 a.m., and every year the screen glitches for 6 minutes, showing reversed footage of myself inside the lantern room. On May 3, 2024, I joined a coastal archaeology survey at Cape Ransom, North Carolina, because a spring nor'easter had exposed old keeper foundations near the still-active Beacon Point Lighthouse. So at dawn, I hiked the dune ridge with only a tablet camera and a handheld wind meter. The black and white tower clicked as its rotating lens passed each azimuth. Then noticed a narrow steel door low on the lighthouse base, partly hidden by reeds. Not the public entrance higher up, but a storm hatch yet. A gust rattled it open an inch and curiosity tugged. I stepped through, crouching. The hatch slammed behind latch, snapping on its own. The stairwell inside glowed faint amber from slit windows, but smelled of dry sand, not salt. Each metal tread dust-coated, except a thin trail of clear glass grains shimmering in light. I ran a finger through them. They chimed like tiny bells. The sound echoed upward, long and slow. I climbed, counting steps. Simple safety habit 15, 30, 50, but stair kept winding with no landings. The glass trail thicker, each loop. Coarse pieces shaped like hourglass bulbs, crushed and ground. Then a soft tick-tick came from above, spaced like a clock pendulum. I called hello. My own voice bounced back, reversed syllables sliding down the stair. I reached what should be lantern level, yet found a circular room smaller than diagrams, showed walls lined with tilted wooden shelves. Each shelf held sand timers, hundreds, various sizes, all running in unison. Sand falling upward into top bulbs. Instead, an hourglass as tall as me encased in iron rings. Sand inside jet black flowing downward normal way. Gathering on lower half, glowing faint blue. Every drop struck plate, making that tick-tick sound. I froze when I saw shapes inside upper bulb, small silhouettes like boats capsized, drifting, then dissolving to grains. But the lens room heard me voice repeated deeper. Save me 3 times. Then, silence. The large hourglass rotated slowly by itself, flipping, but the sand obeyed different gravity, continuing same direction. An hourglass on nearest shelf flipped blank side, now showing today's date and my initials etched in glass. I grabbed timer, tried to smash it on floor, but it bounced unharmed. Ticks in tower sped faster light from black sand. Pile strobed blue-white, making afterimages of distant storms, and I felt sand sliding inside, chest-heavy, settling. I coughed dry grit into palm, found a narrow slit window low enough to squeeze out, but waves crashed against sill. Impossible height. Change tower now sat at surf line. I heard voices like radio chatter melded with wind repeating headcounts from historic shipwrecks that ran aground off this cape. The large hourglass blazed bright blue, projected silhouettes of wrecks swirling upward, dissolving. The tick-tick merged into human heartbeats, then into one long exhale. The timers on shelves drained empty sand, gone. Letters on glass, replaced by word. Due. Then from floor, a new glass bulb grew, spiraling up, settling where my initials hourglass had sat. Sand trickled inside, bright gold, starting to count seconds upward. 012. Voice whispered, paid in full. The wall behind shelves cracked, revealing a stair cramped downward. Not on map. I descended, half-sliding, feeling every second, inside chest speeding, counter rolling, 70-80, heart racing. The narrow shaft opened to the public gallery, mid-tower door barred from outside, but latch loose inside. I shoved out, grad team waving, asking why radio silent for 2 hours, though I entered tower 15 minutes earlier, but glass sand still clung to my boots. Faint chime with every step at lab grains melted under normal light, leaving saltwater puddle that spelled tiny digits counting to 0. Then evaporated. Yet last week, the beacon bulb failed for first time. In decade, lighthouse tech climbed, found lens room coated with thin layer of clear sand. Pile shaped like hourglass base and a single glass timer on shelf dated the day I planned to file this story. Its sand already half fallen, but each tick echoes in memory, matching my heart as if the tower still keeps me on schedule. Even though I walked out, because some lighthouses mark not just the hours ships sail, but the moments when one witness too many enters their forgotten orbit and becomes part of the signal forever. When a lighthouse calls, it isn't always guiding you home. Sometimes it's timing your last breath. If these true beacon horrors gripped your nerves, like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you're never left alone in the dark with only a distant light for company.